back to another video where I spill the tea. And if you're new around here, hi, I'm Phily. I'm a professional marathon runner from the UK, and this is where I share my training, races, coaching tips, life happenings, and my journey on a lifelong dream to make it to the Olympics. And in this video today, all day long, I'm gonna be answering your questions out here on my training camp in Flagstaff, Arizona. It's gonna be pretty open and brutally honest. Trust me, you don't want that version of me. Some of my answers may be a little shocking. Never thought I'd say that. Crazy. I'll be answering your questions about the state of the sport at the moment. There's a bit of a knowledge amongst some of those athletes that some of the athletes they're racing against are not clean. Whether I'll ever dip my toe in the ultra running scene, I'm curious. And you'll be getting to know me just that little bit better. When my period arrives, I feel myself again. And I'll be going in blind. The first time I'm hearing these questions is when I'm answering them in this video. Wild. Over to you, Morning Philly. It's 6:40 AM, and apparently I'm going to be answering all your questions today. But whilst I've done this type of video before, today's different. I don't know what any of the questions are until they're asked to me. What do you mean, Philly? You asked us to send you questions on Patreon and on Instagram, so you've obviously read them. Well, that's where you'd be mistaken, actually, because I provide my passwords to my trusted other, aka Daniel, the other half of this YouTube channel, and my husband. And he's going to be asking me the questions. Come on then, have you come?
Hi.
So we're still going to answer every single Patreon question we get asked. That's the same as always.
Yeah.
So the ones that you don't ask me in this video, I'll go on and answer them afterwards. Answer them afterwards. I always answer every Patreon question because of my patrons.
Hell yeah.
And we've got some from Instagram as well.
Yeah, we do. We've got a couple from Instagram.
Do they get lots of questions?
We got a lot of questions.
And we're starting now.
Yeah, we are starting now.
How are you going to ask me questions for later on in the day when I'm like out at the gym?
I'm going to text you a few. And if you run out, text me and I'll send you more.
Brilliant, okay.
All right, we're going to start with the first one. This is sent in from the Patreon. Now, the question starts, lol, here is a less controversial question. We will get onto that controversial question later in the video. On your way to your #1 goal of LA 28,
Oh yeah.
do you have any sub-goals? Certain times you want to hit in the marathon or other distances or getting a certain place in a major? Yes.
My first goal is to finish this bagel.
Okay. Come on, you can do it. Come on, shove it in. Come on.
LA 2028 is obviously the big goal, but every goal between now and then has to have the prerequisite of being a goal that gets me closer to LA 2028. So yes, I do have other goals. Time goals, competition goals. I think I need to get to a major championships before the Olympics because that would be great experience in preparing me to then compete well at the Olympics. If I can make it to European Championships for the marathon, the World Championships, the World Championships is literally the same level as the Olympics. It's the same countries, it's the same
Caliber of athlete,
yeah, but the prestige is different because the Olympics is only every 4 years, the World's every 2 years, and the Olympics has this je ne sais quoi. What does that mean?
Yes.
So I'd like to get to at least one major championship between now and 2028, and I need to get my time closer to what it's going to need to be in 2028, which we know is going to be faster than I've run now because firstly, the qualifying times are getting faster, but secondly, we know that had I run the time I've run now earlier on in the year, last year, whilst it was below the Olympic qualifying time, 4 women ran faster than me. So I need to be faster than everyone else, or at least within the top 3, and so that's not written in permanent ink because I don't know what that time's going to be yet, and I don't know what other people are going to run. That's not to say that my goals are going to be constantly shifting, but I just need to kind of be ready. I need to be as fast as I can be.
Quite a short question. What is for you the hardest aspect of your job?
Are we saying that my job in this instance is everything that I do for work?
I think so. I think that's more interesting.
Because you can't separate it out really.
No.
Because I'm a professional athlete, I'm a content creator, I'm also a coach. So maybe the answer is in answering what my job is. The fact that there's 3 things and they're all competing for my time at once. I think there's a nugget of truth in that, to be honest. I think maybe it's not necessarily the 3 things competing with each other, but me being able to find the balance in all of them.
Yep.
Because one week I might be really on it with my content, the training's going well, but I'm like, I've fallen behind on where I want to be at with my training plans for my athletes. Or, content might become a little bit overwhelming and then I feel like I'm getting stressed or, working later into the day and that's then impacting training. So it is, I'd say it's the balancing act and finding amongst those 3 jobs 2 full days off at the weekend. We've been working really hard, haven't we, to try and get to the point where we have a weekend. A what?
What's a weekend?
I actually don't know. She is a toasty one out there. White cap, essential. Back to 50 sun cream, essential. And deodorant, essential. And today's Q&A video is brought to you by Wild, who I'm really excited to be working with, and they've sent me the cutest little dispenser with these little tiny bees on it. And I've only started using this quite recently, but already I have been seriously questioning why I haven't made the switch sooner and ditched the disposable plastic deodorants. As runners, we're obviously gonna sweat. We're working hard out here, but we don't want to be smelly in the process. And what I love about Wild is it smells amazing and it actually works. There's no sacrifice on that front, and there's 10 different refill options to choose from, so you're never gonna get bored of just one scent. They're super easy to change, and all of the refills are compostable. So you just have one deodorant case, or two if you're like me and you know that you're probably gonna lose one for a few weeks, and you just refill it each time you need more deodorant, rather than buying and throwing away a disposable plastic deodorant every single time. And I'm also testing out the passion fruit swirl refillable lip balm, which smells delicious. Personally, I'm a big fan, and I think you will be too. And thanks to Wild partnering with us on this video, you can get 20% off using my code, which is Phily20, but it doesn't last long, so click the link at the top of the description. Thank you to Wild for keeping me smelling fresh and clean, and for partnering with us on this video. Alright, next question, I'm ready.
I'm interested to hear the answer to this question, but do you feel your authentic self on videos, or do you play a part?
Wouldn't you like to know? I'm just rolling my feet out if I look a little bit strange whilst I'm doing this. Interesting question. I would say I'm myself. Would you say so?
I agree, yeah.
Listen, I think we all have different versions of ourselves. Who I am out for lunch with my mum, or my dad, is different to who I am interacting with a stranger at the checkout, or with Daniel, or with John. And I think it's a very human and natural thing that we are kind of chameleons of our environment. And being on camera, on YouTube or Instagram, is the same. I'm still myself, but it's a version of myself that's different to who I would be if I'm not talking to a camera. If I was just home alone talking to myself. Trust me, you don't want that version of me. I am effectively at work when I'm on camera, but that doesn't mean that I'm not still my true authentic self, because even when I was working, I'm a big believer that you should bring your whole self to work. But there's a bit of nuance in there. And I can't remember who said this, but someone said to be on TV or to be on camera, you have to be yourself and bring your personality, but it's kind of plus 10 to 15%. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my answer. So I think it's a yes, in short. Medium long run done, and I have my next question from Daniel. He has said, here we are, next questions. Next marathon? Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. Now, I did say that hopefully I would be able to tell you in this video what my next marathon is, but I can't do that yet because I have not been given the go-ahead from the marathon to give you that information yet. Hopefully, it's gonna be in the next video. You're just gonna wait a little bit longer, a little bit. All right, that was a short one. So I've got another one here. How long do you think you'll hold out before you go for an ultra marathon? I love the confidence that it's not will you run an ultra marathon anymore, it's when. I don't think I can put a definitive time or date on it, but my opinion is definitely changing.
Hello there.
Let me put it this way. If I'm lucky, I've got in the region of 10 years, give or take, might be 8 years, might be 12 years, might be 15 years, competing in the marathon, in the road distances, the classic distances. Knowing who I am, I will not want to take that out as far into my 40s to the point at which I don't feel I'm competitive anymore. So unfortunately, there is a sell-by date on what I'm doing, as there is with everything in sport, but it's a pretty good timeline considering. But knowing who I am, when I get to that point, let's say in an ideal world, I'm in my early 40s, am I gonna want to completely stop? I don't know. The athletes that here now would say no. I obviously don't know how I'm gonna feel in 10, 15 years time. Might be really tired, I might wanna stop, but I might not. And if I don't, the option, if I can't run faster than I've ever run before, at the marathon, the half marathon, whatever, the alternative is to run far instead and reach new PBs in that sense. And also tackle a completely different sport. I'm well aware it's different. And there's something about that that is intriguing. I'm curious. So it's not a no anymore, but it's also not something that is in my immediate future. Never thought I'd say that. Crazy. Honey, I'm home. And I got your present.
Oh wow.
Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Let's see if you're still diseased. I'm gonna get in the shower
Yeah.
whilst we wait for your
You're not.
results. Yes, I am.
No, you know.
Why?
You got another question to answer?
This is a very demanding video, and I don't like the fact that you're in control of it, to be
I'm
honest.
enjoying this.
Alright, hurry up.
Alright, next question. Hey Philly, what's one piece of running advice that you now know you would go back and give your younger self?
I would say more is not always more. Something I feel like I've learned fairly recently. In a nutshell, yes, in general, right, more mileage in what I do is going to make you fitter and a better athlete. But it's not that simple. I'm actually stealing this in the way that John explained it to me yesterday when we were chatting about this. It's not a maths equation. He said math, but irrelevant. It's an English question. Because let's say John has set me a long run and it's 18 to 21 miles. In my head, I'm like, 21 or bust. 21, that's a good day, succeeding to do 21. But if you force yourself to get to 21, to tick that off, it's not a good day because you've then sacrificed something else, like recovery or, listening to your body. So I think it's knowing that there's nuance in and amongst, more volume is going to make you a faster athlete. And yeah, just kind of fully respecting those things. More isn't always more. Sometimes an extra rest day is more, I'm going to get in the shower now, okay?
Okay, good.
Have you got your results? Look.
I still have COVID. Next question?
Oh my god, this is relentless.
Yeah.
If I haven't said that already.
Someone that we know very well has asked you, what are you most excited about during this trip in Flagstaff?
Someone we know very well.
Yeah, Zana asked this question.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. The thing I'm most excited about while we're out here is for my good friend Zana to come in a few weeks' time and to get to experience Flagstaff with us. That's the answer for Zana. No, I actually am really excited for her to come out. We were chatting about this, weren't we? It's such a big part of our lives coming out here. We're here for pretty much like half the year these days, 2 decent 2-3 month trips. And whilst we get to capture content and stuff and tell our friends and family what it's like being out here and why we love it so much, we don't actually kind of really get to share that with anyone or show them. So it will be really cool to show her, what it's all about here, what we get up to, what my training at altitude is like. It's hard to pick one thing, just being out here and absorbing and enjoying the whole experience, really throwing myself into the training, but also, being in the moment and getting to appreciate that we get to come out here. It's a pretty sick part of what we do.
Yeah, when you don't have COVID, yeah.
Pain is temporary, babe. Pain is temporary. Trust me, I'm 4 days ahead of you. The end is in sight.
But I haven't spoken to a human that's not you for 5 days.
Yeah, but you're an introvert. You're fine.
Yeah.
Also, it might be worth explaining why we are stuck in this apartment, which it's fine, it's got everything we need, but it's quite warm and does feel a little bit like a prison, especially because we were isolating here for the first few days. You still are. That's because we both had COVID when we arrived at Flagstaff. And normally we stay with friends, but can't exactly do that when we have COVID. So we're staying here, we booked it for a week. Hopefully we don't need it for longer than a week. If you don't test negative by Friday, I swear, you're staying here and I'm leaving. Okay? Alright, I'm back at my usual place of residence to do my gym session. First I'm gonna have a snack and answer another question because Daniel has sent one over to me. This question reads, are you scared of having your period on race day? No, I'm not. I'll tell you why. We're all different, okay? I understand that people that might have really heavy or really painful periods, yeah, they're not gonna want that to arrive on race day because it's gonna be an inconvenience and it might make it more difficult for you to perform or it might just stress you out. For me personally, when my period arrives, I feel myself again. It's the 3 to 5 days leading up to my period in the last part of my luteal phase that I feel like crap. That's what I don't want to fall on race day, but it has done before and I've been okay. It's just about doing everything you can to get yourself in the best possible position despite of the point in your cycle you're at. And if you're having a regular cycle, you're experiencing day 1 to whatever it is, 28 days. I have a shorter cycle, I'm sort of 24, 25 typically. You experience that every month or every, 25 days. So if you can get to know yourself and your body, how you feel physically, mentally, in training on each of those days and what helps if you're not feeling great, then you can help yourself on race day. Nutrition. Looking at your nutrition and eating different foods or specific foods for specific times in the cycle, there's research to show that that can be beneficial. And if you're someone that struggles with this or you feel like you've really just not tapped into knowing yourself at different times in your cycle, whether it is your follicular phase, your luteal phase, being on your period during racing, I would recommend you check out an app called Fitter Woman. That's fit and then an R and then woman. I have no affiliation to this app or reason to promote it to you other than I think it has some really great advice. There's training tips, nutrition tips, depending on where you're at in your cycle within this app, so I will stick a link in the description below. All right, let's go get strong. Alright, I'm about halfway done with my gym, and I could do with a breather. So I have consulted Daniel for my next question, and he sent me 2. He must know that I'm struggling. How did you decide on your wedding outfit? Did you try on any dresses? Brackets, please can we see? And then, oh, I see why you sent these together. Did you keep your family name or Daniel's? I didn't try on any other outfits. I just ordered my trousers and waistcoat set. But whilst I didn't try on any other outfits for the day that we got married, I have tried on some dresses for our wedding party that we're having next year. So that's our plan. We're kind of splitting it. We've had our civil ceremony, intimate day, just with family, kind of no frills. And then next year, we're just having a big party. I'll be wearing a wedding dress at that party. I have tried on some dresses and no, you can't see because I'm keeping it a surprise. And also the ones that I didn't like, they don't need to be out on the internet. Well, I could make a reel out of it. I'll think about it. I have kept my surname because I doesn't really feel like I need to change it, to be honest. I feel like changing your surname automatically to the man's surname in a heterosexual relationship is one of the traditions that I feel like is a bit outdated and not necessary today. However, we might double barrel our surnames. It would be nice to have the same last name, but at the same time, it doesn't feel important. Maybe if we have kids one day, then it's like, well, what's the last name of the kids? And shouldn't we all have the same last name as a family? But luckily, we're not planning on doing that anytime soon. Okay, time to lift some more things up and put them down again and repeat. We survived the gym session, and shock horror, I have finished to another question. Well, it's not from Daniel, it's from one of you, but Daniel has sent it to me. You get it. It says, yay, thanks for doing another Q&A, Phily. You're very welcome. If you'd be open to speaking on this, I'm curious your perspective on the impacts of doping in pro running. I know something like Ruth's case causes ripples in ways I can't truly understand, and it would be cool to know how my fave pro is thinking / feeling about it. Wow, big one. I feel like I could do an entire video talking about this. And to be honest, I've kept pretty quiet on this one since it's come out for a few reasons. I have been a little bit confused how I feel about it. And if you don't know, this is the women's current marathon world record holder, Ruth Chepngetich, being found to have had a ridiculously high level of a masking agent in her system, which is a banned substance because it's used to cover up taking performance-enhancing drugs. She won't have her world record stripped away from her, which she did last year in Chicago, which was 2:09 something, because the timing of this violation didn't overlap with that. And I think I speak for a lot of people in the professional ranks of the sport and with a really deep understanding of the sport that when she ran that time, a lot of us were suspicious, to say the least. I think she ran like the 5th fastest half marathon time ever en route to taking nearly 2 clean minutes off the world record. That's just pretty unbelievable, to be honest. You don't tend to see that happen. So there were lots of raised eyebrows. A lot of people raised their suspicions and were kind of attacked for it because other than it being an unbelievable performance, there was no evidence. And in the past, I think I've been very naive that, you know, we have anti-doping and we have drugs testing and therefore, you know, we should have clean sport because people will be caught. Having spoken to athletes who are, you know, have been in higher places than me, have been to bigger championships, bigger races, brushed shoulders with the fastest athletes in the world, they have a much more cynical view of it. And I think that's kind of a sign to me that, yeah, my thoughts on it used to be a little bit naive. There's a bit of a knowledge amongst some of those athletes that some of the athletes they're racing against are not clean, and they kind of know who they are and they're waiting for them to get caught, which really sucks. It causes ripples in many ways. You know, athletes behind Ruth, or, you know, other athletes who get banned or test positive for banned substances, athletes behind them in races are not reimbursed for what they've lost a lot of the time, and even if they are, they don't get that moment again. Winning the Chicago Marathon is a career-changing and career-defining moment. So, you know, the athlete that comes second, provided they're clean, doesn't get to experience the impact of that on their career, the impact of that on their contract bonuses from their kit and shoe contract or the race bonuses, the doors that opens for them, and, you know, that ripples the whole way down. But where I felt a little bit conflicted on this is seeing a lot of athletes speak out about Ruth's violation and her, you know, suspension that she has started to serve voluntarily, which started mid-April. That's why she didn't race the London Marathon, which is also why, because it's only a masking agent, she could be back competing as early as April 2027, because it's 2 years that she'll get. I've seen a lot of athletes speak out about it, and in the volumes and kind of loudness that we don't see for everyone. For example, a very high-profile case over here in the US was Shelby Houlihan's ban, and we saw people speak out in support of her, that it must be a mistake, but not these droves of people saying, you know, get the cheats out of the sport that we've seen with Ruth. Something about that makes me feel a bit icky. Is it because of what country she's from or the colour of her skin? I think there's also deeper questions to be asked, especially in this instance. Let's look at the agent of this athlete. How many athletes have they had banned recently? High profile athletes, really fucking successful athletes. Her agent, Federico Rosa, has now had 5 athletes that he represents suspended because of a doping violation who are marathon major champions. 5 athletes. Ruth Chepngetich is the 5th. Jemima Sumgong, Rita Jeptu, Lawrence Chirono, and Sarah Chepchiria. That's a concerning list from one agent. So I think we should be looking into that. That's suspicious. And what are the inner workings of that? Is this agent pressuring these athletes into taking performance-enhancing drugs so that he can profit on the wins that they get? Is he helping them cover up the fact that they're taking these drugs? And in addition, there's been a lot of talk about Kenyan athletes in general, because there's been several high-profile Kenyan athletes who have been suspended recently, and something's not adding up. Kenya has always produced a lot of top endurance distance athletes, and supposedly they are drugs tested a lot. It's been reported that the Kenya Olympic team had an average of 9 tests outside of competition per athlete, and that's really high, which you'd think would be a good thing and help us catch athletes who are cheating. So why then did we only find a masking agent in Ruth Chepngetich's system at the start of this year? You're telling me she broke the world record for the marathon and then started taking performance enhancing drugs and masking agents? That doesn't seem right. If she's clean when she runs the world record, she's like, well, I'm the best in the world. I know what I'm doing. I just need to keep doing it. If I never run faster again, hey, I've already broken the world record. Why would she start taking performance enhancing drugs after that? She wouldn't. So why was she not caught before now? Like I said, I could create a whole video on this, but in essence, I feel a little bit let down by the system because it doesn't feel like it's up to scratch, and anti-doping categorically needs to be ahead of athletes who are cheating. I don't think that's the case right now, which really sucks. But we can only do what we can do. Other than following the rules and committing to clean sport myself and surrounding myself with people that do the same, I have to focus on myself and being the best that I can be, hoping that the people in the positions that can really put this right do the right thing. Gotta be optimistic, gotta have hope. Right, so I've just driven to the supermarket, and after that more heavy question, I asked Daniel if there's a fun one. He's replied, chocolate milk. Want some? I'm guessing he wants me to pick some chocolate milk up? No, that's the question. Chocolate milk. Yes, chocolate milk. Yes is the answer.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Another question?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should know the answer to this one because you are a really good coach. What's Daniel's next running goal?
That's not for the coach to decide. The athlete is the one that decides the goals. And then I blindly support you in those, unless they're wildly unrealistic, in which case I let you down gently. I don't know, I think you need to answer that one.
So, running goals. There aren't any at the moment. My focus has been a lot more recently, and I see very recently in the last like 3 or 4 weeks. I just want to be fit and strong, lose a bit of weight, build some muscle mass so that my older self will thank me in the future. That's kind of my main goal at the moment. There will be running goals on the horizon. Don't worry, the marathon will come at some point. I know it will. And also quite a lot of questions about my YouTube channel. And I know quite a lot of you guys really enjoyed me sharing my running journey, but I prefer working on this channel. Being the editor doesn't mean I won't make videos in the future, but I'm just not promising anything. Hello? We've got one more question.
I'm asleep. Go on then.
How are you?
Tired.
Your year has been such an adventure, ups and downs. How can we support you? That's really sweet.
Stop asking me questions so I can go to sleep. Yeah, that's true. It's been a crazy year so far. I'm sure it's not going to stop being crazy. We're at the start of a training camp, so if my spidey senses are tingling in the right direction, craziness isn't going to stop there. But we love the grind, so that means we love the bumps along the road as well, and the ups and downs. I think it's cheesy, but it does make the days that you win all that little bit sweeter. But I'm okay. I'm doing okay. We're okay, aren't we?
Yeah.
We have each other.
Hell yeah.
We, I think, are very grateful for what we get to do, and even when life throws you a few lemons, it can always be worse. And I know that's a little bit of toxic positivity, but it helps me sometimes. What can you do other than subscribing, which, assuming this person already is? Just be a nice person. Not just to me, but to other people as well, because it ripples. If you're nice to someone, they're going to be in a better mood, and they'll be more likely to be nice to someone else, and it'll probably come all the way back to you and to me. I feel like you need to put like the sequence of Barney the dinosaur, like the children's TV show there. I love you, you love me, we're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say off the grind? No, you
Are we gonna
you'd have to put that in there.
I will be putting that in there.